Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC on Fox. Lawler versus Dos Anjos, welterweight clash of the ages, and this card delivered top to bottom. There was hardly any decisions. There was 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 decisions out of 11 fights. Well, that's just under half, I suppose. But even the decisions were fun to watch a lot of times. But yeah, this post-fight rundown of the main card, and let's get started. So the main event was welterweight clash with Rafael Dos Anjos, having moved up to welterweight, facing former UFC welterweight champ Robbie Lawler. And wow, this fight, I was shocked. 50-45 across the board. Definitely deserved win for Rafael Dos Anjos. He pretty much dominated every round. He outlanded Robbie Lawler by a landslide. I believe at one point it was like 190 to 110, so a pretty big striking differential there. And yeah, this fight pretty much stayed standing, and it was a boxing match. And there was a lot of times where Dos Anjos got Lawler up against the cage and teed off on him. And there's one point where it lasted upwards of like 23 seconds of just Dos Anjos teeing off on Lawler. This was an impressive win for Rafael Dos Anjos, and I believe that he should either get a title shot or a #1 contender shot, or like Santiago Ponzinibbio said early on in the card, him versus the winner of this fight for the interim welterweight championship sounds like a fairly rational thing. And this was, yeah, a pretty intense main event and a big win for Rafael Dos Anjos, beating the #2 ranked guy in the welterweight division. Wow, amazing. Then in the co-main event, we had a catchweight bout because Josh Emmett was a short notice replacement, and had he not been a short notice replacement, would have probably been able to make the weight. And he was going up against the #3 guy in Ricardo Lamas. Wow, shocked by this one. I picked Lamas on my pre-fight show to win by, I believe it was like decision due to the wrestling. But this was a KO punch, round 1, 4 minutes and 33 seconds into the first round. Josh Emmett knocked out Lamas cold. Explosive, exciting finish. Josh Emmett's the real deal. And I think that Josh Emmett should get a top 10 guy in his next fight. Maybe even possibly a top 5 guy. And I think, yeah, presumably Josh Emmett will make the weight, assuming he gets a full camp and there's no short notice situation in the next fight. And I think he'll be able to hold his own, whoever that opponent is. And yeah, Josh Emmett's the real deal. Team Alpha Male did a good job with him. Then in the welterweight division, we had Santiago Ponzinibbio going up against Mike Platinum Perry. Yeah, this is the only one on the main card I got right. Wow. Santiago Ponzinibbio won 29-28 unanimous decision across the board. I thought there was going to be a knockout here in the first round. I thought the footwork and not staying in the pocket of Mike Perry would have ended up being a first-round knockout win for Santiago. But Mike Perry was able to hold his own, and Mike Perry can take some really hard shots. He proved he's durable in this fight and can go 3 rounds. And Santiago proved that he can take some hard shots as well and keep going. And this guy, wow, imagine if he fights for a UFC belt in the coming year or two. That will make Ultimate Fighter Brazil more legitimized and show that it's not, you know, you can't overlook these foreign tough seasons. I mean, you know, we've had Benito, we had we've had so many good fighters out of Latin America season, and then as well as the Brazil season, that Santiago will be just all the more reason why you can't overlook the guys out of those seasons. And then, Robert Whittaker, he was on the Ultimate Fighter Smashes, and he's now our UFC middleweight champ of the world. Wow, so you can't overlook those overseas Ultimate Fighter shows, and yeah, Santiago, him being, I believe, Argentinian, but being on the Brazil season because he immigrated to Brazil. Yeah, he's talented. The guy can do everything, and the guy's the real deal. He has knockout power, and he has a pretty solid ground game, and he won this decision unanimous. No one's going to argue, especially that third round. He was just dominant on Mike Perry. Some could argue that was a 10-8 round, I think. But yeah, Santiago, I think, is one or two wins away from a title shot at this point. He's looking really good. And then to kick off the main card, we had a light heavyweight clash with Glover Teixeira trying to rebound from his loss with Alexander Gustafsson, going up against trying to become Resurgence, Misha Serkinov. And Misha Serkinov, wow, I thought he had this fight in the bag. I thought his ground game was going to be the difference maker, and also his age. Boy, did this one just come out of nowhere. Well, I mean, Glover has knockout power, and it showed still. Yeah, TKO punches, round one, win for Glover Teixeira. Glover back in title mix as far as I'm concerned. He's already high up there in the rankings. And yeah, the knockout punches came out of nowhere. 2 minutes, 45 seconds into that first round. Impressive win. I say, yeah, Glover wins another match. He gets a title shot. Or he's on standby if anything happens with Volkan Ozdemir and DC for the upcoming light heavyweight clash. Maybe as a interim title challenger against Volkan if DC has a pullout due to any sort of injuries. That would be a good fight. Yeah, so that wraps up the post-fight show for this card, and this card was phenomenal. The first prelim to the main event were just amazing. I was on the edge of my seat with every other fight on this card. This card was pay-per-view caliber. And so that wraps up this, and stay tuned. In the coming days, I'll do a pre-fight for UFC 219, and until then, see ya.